Throughout League's history, there has been a countless number of incredible plays.
The genius play!
But there's a specific type of play that has a special place in our hearts, the big brain play. Because we all know that playing League requires an incredibly high IQ.
Up until they lose the game, they're winning.
My name's Myth, and you might know me from my channel where I yap about the history of League of Legends. Today, we'll be looking at and ranking some of the biggest brain plays we've ever seen in professional League of Legends. Kicking off our list and starting off strong is a play from Zeus during Worlds 2024, back when he was still on T1. In their match during the quarterfinals against TES, Zeus was pushing bot lane while Owner took Drake and rotated down for an easy dive. The dive ended up going catastrophically wrong, with 369 turning it around and getting a kill on Owner.
369 back up, perfect layering on the combo, but 369 is still living.
Forced to retreat, Zeus started to recall but realized he didn't have the time. Ivern had just dropped Brush over the wall, and little did Zeus know, Mako was also channeling Hex Flash. Even though this was a high-stakes Worlds game, Zeus didn't hesitate. He knew exactly where the minion wave was and saw his chance to get out. He flashed into the middle of the lane, hiding in the fog of war, and barely made it into the lane brush.
This is Mako! He doesn't know! He thinks he got out! The genius play! A perfect use of fog of war!
It was such an unexpected and creative way to get out that even an incredible support player like Mako was successfully juked. That's a big brain play, no doubt.
Secret Agent Zeus finds the escape, sticks in the fog of war!
The next on our list is so iconic that you know what it is if you even just see this champion. And if you didn't know, you'll know once you hear the player, Xpeke. It was Fnatic versus SK Gaming at IEM Katowice 2013. After struggling throughout the game, Fnatic had managed to claw their way back into the game by defending it in their base and doing everything they could to stay in it. Even just one single mistake and the game would be over. Fnatic managed to make a pick on Ocelot and Candy Panda. With only Cyanide respawning for Fnatic, they took their numbers advantage and pushed down mid. SK did absolutely everything they could to keep their base alive, including shielding their turrets and using Janna's ultimate to buy time. And it worked. With their mid and AD carry back up, SK collapsed on Fnatic with Xpeke just barely escaping. It looked like that was the fatal mistake for Fnatic, but where everyone else saw a mistake, Xpeke saw an opportunity. Xpeke teleported from top jungle into SK's base, and SK actually saw this coming on vision, sending Olaf back to deal with the very low health Kassadin. A game of professional ring around the rosy ensued, and SK realized they were about to lose the game because Olaf could not hit Kassadin.
He's trying to take the Nexus down. Is anyone going to be able to deal with this one? Catches him with another axe. He's very low. They're pushing on the Nexus to his I do not believe it. He's stuck in there.
This play is one of the most known throughout League's history, and was so big brain that even 13 years later, Xpeke's name is still synonymous with backdooring a base. For that, it goes into Giga Brain tier.
39 HP as he takes that last swing on the Nexus.
The next play on our list is from Game 5 of CLG versus TL during the 2016 NALCS.
Piglet! He's going hard. Piglet gets one. He gets two.
After a fight in CLG's favor, Piglet had started to farm the mid lane. Overall, TL was significantly behind, but Piglet's spacing was a real problem throughout the game, and as long as Piglet was alive, TL still had a chance. Piglet had dealt almost double the damage of Stixxay at this point, despite their team having almost a 10,000 gold disadvantage. But while farming mid, a teleport comes in, and the casters call out that it's Darshan about to go for Piglet. But what Piglet could have never expected was that this wasn't one teleport, it was two.
And Piglet is definitely in hypercarry mode right now, but Darshan wants to kill him.
That's a little ambitious.
Oh, double TP!
It's two of them, the double TP! He only thought it was one.
Darshan gets trapped, but Huhi is then able to just run up to Caitlyn and lock her down, securing the win. This play is pretty unique because not only did it catch Piglet completely off guard, it caught everyone off guard. Even the casters had to confirm if it was even possible to tell that the second teleport had started.
It is nearly impossible to tell when two people are coming in on the same ward. I think it is impossible.
Fooling everyone, including the viewers, gets this easily into Mega Mind tier.
One guy eats the trap, the other guy doesn't, and he gets on to kill him.
The The next play on our list could have easily come from a Metal Gear game. It was Game 2 of C9 versus SSB during the quarterfinals at Worlds 2014. At the 32-minute mark, Cloud9 was down 7,000 gold against Samsung Blue, who was Korea's #1 seed. They were trying to find a way back into the game, while Hai on Zed was pushing out bot side. He hid in the brush, like all Zed players do, but when Twisted Fate came to push the wave, he did nothing. Because he was so far behind, it wasn't obvious if Zed could even 1v1 Twisted Fate at this point. But Hai had his eye on something else. Samsung Blue's exposed bot inhibitor.
Is it a back door? He wants the back door.
As the wave leaves and the minion wave moves past, Hai uses the Fog of War to enter the next brush. And he keeps going in between waves, completely undetected.
He's really a full-on ninja right now. He's going for it.
Just as it looks like he's about to pull off the ultimate heist, Hai steps out of the brush just a moment too soon, and is visible on the map for just a fraction of a second.
We could see Cloud9 stick the barrel. He knows it. He knows his spot.
Immediately, the alarms go off and SSB collapse. If Hai had managed to make it to the inhibitor, it could have changed how the game played out entirely, because the backdoor attempt was perfectly synced with Baron spawning. Samsung Blue would have had to collapse on Hai instead, and C9 likely would have been able to do Baron. Even though it failed, the idea behind this play, the hype of the crowd, and what could have happened if not for a very slight misstep, make it one of the biggest brain plays in NA history. This one gets its own tier. Solid Snake tier.
What an attempt from Cloud9 though.
The next play on our list is absolutely ridiculous. So ridiculous that it's hard to even tell what happened at a glance. Game 3 of Gen G versus T1 at MSI 2023. T1 had a slight lead, but that grew into a bigger lead after Gumayushi got a quadra kill at a fight that broke out in mid lane.
A quadra for Gumayushi!
Chovy had managed to escape, heading toward his fountain, but Zeus teleported into the base to cut him off with Owner. With Chovy this low and T1 literally standing in front of the enemy team's fountain, it looked like the game was over. But not according to Chovy.
Oh, it was not enough at all. He's going to die to a turret, and Chovy is going to sit on the base. There are minions that are winning the game in the meantime. But it can't end.
At a glance, it looks like it's just another stopwatch outplay. A really good one, but nothing too absurd. But Chovy didn't have stopwatch until this exact moment. He opened up the shop, bought stopwatch, and activated it that fast. Most players would never even be able to identify this as a possible play to make, but Chovy could see into 1,000 timelines and identify the single play that could win them this game.
Oh, look at Chovy buying stopwatch. In range. He's in range. Ow!
Oh my god, look at Chovy. Look at his items. P, stopwatch, buy, use.
They actually went on to win this game because of this play. Even though they ended up losing the series 2-3, it illustrates perfectly why Chovy is one of the greatest of all time. For this one, Chovy enters the GOAT tier.
How the hell did Gen G win that game?
The player and champion duo for this final play is so iconic and so fun to watch that we couldn't narrow it down to just one play.
There's no way that worked.
Instead, this section is dedicated to Kyria and his incredible Nico plays at Worlds 2025. The first play is from Game 4 of the Worlds 2025 quarterfinals against AL. Cosplaying as Owner, Kyria was baiting around the brush and river. He stepped out and did a completely normal thing to do on Nico. He threw his clone toward the enemy team. It walked its normal distance, then stood still as expected. But what AL didn't know is that this wasn't a Nico clone standing in front of them. It was Kyria.
As the Ornhorn comes in but only finds one. Kyria locks up Hope. Gumayushi into the back line of the AL AD carries already down. Owner tries to flash away. Doran in the middle of everybody, but Flandra barely stays alive.
This play caught the main carry Hope out of place and caused Shanks to burn his flash. The confidence needed, the absolute nerves of steel you need to have to make a play this bold when you are a single game off elimination while fighting for a record that is very likely to never ever be challenged again in League's history is insane. But for Kyria, it's just another Worlds. The semi-finals of that very same tournament is our next play, this time T1 versus TES. After catching 369 and Cream in the top lane, T1 rotated down toward Ocean Drake. Kyria, though, goes a different route. Walking through mid lane, Faker casually drops one of the sickest blind Zonia reactions of all time.
Faker's Zonias!
Faker walks right towards the brush, but he's got the reaction time.
TES retreats toward their red brush, specifically choosing a route to avoid Doran's teleport. And a Merkwolf? It was just right at this moment, TES realized it was checkmate and Kyria comes out of the brush with a Pop Blossom.
Kyria's wrapping around from the side. He wants to cut off the escape. Pop Blossom on 2. Doran chasing after Hong as Jackie Love is dead again. And Doran cuts the enemy support down. Only Kanavi is alive to tell the tale.
Kyria's unusual pathing in the top jungle had been to go to Wolves and transform into a Merkwolf. This way he could run through the mid lane on vision and still not be seen because disguised as a Merkwolf, Nico wouldn't have a portrait on the minimap. This let him get a flank on TES, enabling T1 to kill both Jackie Love and Hang. While everyone else is playing League of Legends, Kyria was also playing Metal Gear. For this one, Kyria earns his place right up there with Chovy in the GOAT tier. With so many big brain plays throughout League's competitive history, it's outright impossible to cover them all. So I'm curious, from what we covered today, which was your favorite? And if you disagreed with the ranking or any of the moments included, what would you change? Are there any you'd like to see covered in a future video? Let me know down in the comments. Lastly, if you'd like to listen to me yap even more about League, don't forget to check out my channel linked down below, and subscribe to LoL Esports for more content like this. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.
Simply magnificent.